Assalamu alaikum students. My name is Salim Shahzad and I am visiting lecturer of mathematics at University of Education Jorabad campus. And today the topic that we are going to discuss is infinite series. Here is the motivation of this topic. All of you are familiar with finite sums, but as you know, if you are asked to add infinite number of terms by traditional way, my question to all of you would be, can you do that? Think about it for a moment. Of course you people can't, because you can't keep adding infinite number of terms. This will take a lot of time and will have no end. Okay, so we have to do something else. This is one motivation of today's topic. Secondly, if you add infinite number of terms, sometimes the results are very unexpected, because if you look at this, sum which contains infinitely many numbers and you are adding them, so our traditional knowledge, our previous knowledge tells us that the sum will be 0. Why? Because plus 1 and minus 1, these terms will keep cancelling with each other and you will finally get 0 as a result. Okay, but that's not the case. Why? We will discuss that in today's lecture, inshallah. So let me give you another example of such sums, and that is very obvious. You people have seen the decimal representation of some real numbers, and I am giving you an example of that. So 1 by 3 is a real number, and its decimal representation is 0.3333, as you can see from here, and we can write it as 1 by 3 equal to 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003 plus up to so on, right? So this is actually suggesting us that the sum of infinitely many numbers can be equal to a finite number sometime. As you can see from here, the right side of the equation is actually sum of infinitely many numbers. Okay, and on the left hand side you people can see very easily that we have a finite number 1 by 3, which suggests that sometime you can find sum of infinitely many numbers. Okay, though it is very impossible often to find such sums using our traditional algebraic operations. Here is another example of the same fact. You have a number, a very famous number actually, pi, which have I must tell you people that almost 2 trillion digits of these numbers have been discovered so far, but the pattern is still going on. It's not ending anywhere. So we can write this number as 3 plus 0.1 plus 0.04 plus 0.001 plus 0.0005 plus up to so on. So we can see very easily, the more terms we add here, the closer we get to the actual value of pi. So again we have the same thing, that on right hand side we have a sum of infinitely many numbers, and on the left we are getting an answer which shows that it is possible to find sum of infinitely many numbers. That's quite easier, but it doesn't look like if you try by traditional methods of algebraic operations. Okay, so objectives of today's lecture: we are going to discuss the definition of infinite series. Secondly, we will discuss the meaning of a sum of infinite series. You guys must know that this area is very important, this section is very important, because if you can't understand, if you can't get the concept, you will not be able to understand the further upcoming lectures and today's upcoming sections after this section. Okay, so in next section we are going to calculate that sum. We are going to find a very easy approach to find that sum if it exists in the first place, because we are not sure there will be cases where sum of infinite number of terms will not be finite, will not be a number, will not exist. Okay, in next section we are going to discuss convergence and divergence of infinite series. So, or finally we will discuss the geometric series, which is actually a special case of series. Okay, so let's start. So let's talk about infinite series. An infinite series is an expression of the form given below. Here the numbers u1, u2, u3 are called the terms of the series. Okay, these are numbers which are being added, and how many numbers are there which we are adding in this expression? infinitely many numbers. Okay, that is why we call it an infinite series, and the numbers are called the terms of the series. Okay, so here are some basic examples of infinite series: 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 1 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 9 plus 1 by 16, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 16 plus up to so on. So there are a lot of examples. You can give as many as you like. Okay, we are not talking about their convergence or divergence at this moment. We are not talking about the sum being we are interested in finding that sum, but we are not talking about it here. So we can mention any number being added, infinitely many numbers. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is very important. You people need to keep paying attention and focusing on the slides that you are seeing and focusing on my voice, what I'm talking about. Okay, so the question, very basic question, is that does it make sense to talk about the sum of infinitely many numbers in the first place? Think about it for a moment. Does it make sense? My question to all of you is that does it make sense to talk about sum of infinitely many numbers? Yes, it does. Why? We know that it is impossible to add infinite number of terms together directly. We know that. Okay, but there are certain approaches that can be used to find the sum of the series, sum of infinite terms. Okay, and that will be a limiting process that we are going to discuss in some upcoming slides. So to motivate the idea, let's have some example. So consider the following example. We have a series where you have natural numbers being added, and how many natural numbers are being added here? Infinitely many. As you people know, the sum of first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2, and also you people know that as n gets larger, the sum will also get larger. Okay, so it's not going to end anywhere. You can't have a number which can be, you know, told as precisely as the sum of this series. Okay, because it's getting larger and larger, it's not stopping anywhere. But if we add terms of this series, now you have another series, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus up to 1 by 2 power n plus up to so on, right? So if you add terms of these series, and by adding I means adding terms. Okay, so first of all you will have a single term 1 by 2. Okay, second time you will add 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, and the result is being written down in the next line 3 by 4, and then you will add the three terms 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8, and you will have 7 by 8. Okay, so you are actually adding terms by their numbers. Okay, if I talk about the sum of first term, it will be the first term only. If I talk about sum of first two terms, it will be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. If I talk about sum of first three terms, it will be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. And as you can see that these sums that I am having here, these sums will be a part of the overall sum of the series. That is why we call these sums as partial sums. Okay, so now I'm going to present you a table where we have partial sums for the terms, and these partial sums are up to I think 10 terms. Let's see, sorry, it's up to 25 terms. Okay, so if you look at this table, you people can easily see that as the number of terms increase in the sum, as the number of terms increases, the sum is getting closer and closer and closer to 1. You people can feel this very easily. Okay, think about it for a second. So in fact, by adding sufficiently many terms of this series, we can make this partial sum, the partial sums, as close to one as we wish. Okay, it's very easy. Keep adding those terms and you will be closer and closer and closer to 1, as close as you wish. Okay, so it's quite reasonable to say that it's very obvious now that in limiting cases, when we take limit of n as n approaches infinity, in that case the sum will be 1, because the number of terms being added are being increased, and the sum is getting closer and closer and closer to 1. That means that if we add infinitely many numbers, we will be able to reach 1, or you can say in another manner that you can get as close as you wish to the 1. Okay, so here we will talk about way to calculate sum. We have studied the theory behind in previous slide. So let's talk about how we will calculate the sum. On the basis of previous example, we developed an idea of calculating sum of a general series. We consider the partial sums. Okay, we have discussed partial sums in previous slide. What is meant by partial sum? If I talk about first partial sum, it means a sum of one term, that is the only first term. If I talk about sum of partial sum, second partial sum, that will be the sum of first two terms. If I talk about third partial sum, that will be the sum of first three terms. Okay, and if I talk about nth partial sum, that will be the sum of first n terms of the series. Okay, so these partial sums form a new sequence. As you can see, s1, s2, s3 up to sn and so on. This is becoming a sequence. Okay, and this sequence may or may not have limit. Okay, this is very important. It does not necessarily have a limit. It doesn't need to have a limit. Okay, so it does not have limit. If it does have a limit, okay, if this sequence does have a limit, we say as a finite number. That is important because we need a finite number element. If it exists and is a finite number such that limit n tends to infinity of s n is equal to s exist, then we say that this s that we are having as a limit of the sum, nth sum, is the sum of that series. Let me repeat this once more. We have a series, we find its partial sums s1, s2, s3, sn, and we try to investigate the limit of the sequence sn. If it exists as a finite number and is equal to a number s, for example, then we say that the series we were talking about have a sum, and that sum is s. So I hope it will be clear to all of you. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, let's define convergence and a divergence of a series. So if you have been given a series that is mentioned right here before you people, and we denote its nth partial sum by Sn, where Sn is equal to sum of first n terms of this series, and we say if this sequence of terms, partial sums, is convergent, that is the limit exists as a finite number, then we say that the series is convergent. Okay, let me repeat this, that if the sequence of partial sums has a limit, exists as a finite number, then we say that the series is convergent, and if that sequence is divergent, then the series will be correspondingly divergent as well. Okay, I hope so it will be clear to all of you. Let me repeat it once more. It will be convergent if the sequence of partial sums is convergent, and it will be divergent if the sequence of partial sums is divergent. So let's moving on to the next slide, where we will discuss some examples. So here we have a series, and if you look at it very closely, you will find out that it is the same series that we have discussed in the I think second slide or third slide. That was to motivate the idea that sometimes we get some unexpected results by adding infinitely many numbers. Okay, so let's discuss this. There I have said that its sum is not 0. Now we will discuss why isn't it. So it's tempting to conclude that the sum will be 0 by arguing that the positive and negative terms will cancel away each other. This is because our traditional algebraic operations doesn't always work for infinite number of terms. Okay, keep it in your mind that your traditional algebraic operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division sometimes doesn't work for infinite number of terms. There is a condition that might be discussed later in our some upcoming lectures, which is necessary for this to happen. Okay, If you want your traditional algebraic operations to work for infinite number of terms, that condition must satisfy, otherwise it will not work. We will discuss that condition in some upcoming lecture, I hope so. So, however, for this series, we will turn to the definition of convergence or divergence on previous slide. So, we are actually using the approach of partial sums. So, we are going to do that again. We are finding partial sums of this series. So, the first partial sums will be just 1. Second partial sum will be 1 plus minus 1, that is 0. Third partial sum will be 1 plus minus 1 plus 1, that will be 1, and so on. So we have a sequence 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 and so on. This will keep going like that, okay? And all of you know from your previous knowledge that this sequence is divergent. Why? Because it is oscillating between 1 and 0. It's not getting close to any point, okay? So we say that this sequence is divergent. So which clearly is a divergent sequence, thus the series that we are discussing is also divergent by our previous definition that we have discussed on previous slide. Are we clear with this? I hope so. So this series is divergent. Moving on to the next example. Okay, in this example we have a series which is actually 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 16 with a general term 1 over 2 to the power n. Okay, so let's observe the following table. So if you look at this table, we have found out some partial sums. First partial sum, second, third, and nth partial sum. First partial sum is just 1, second partial sum is 1 plus 1 by 2, third one is 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, and nth is sum of first n terms of the series. Now I want you to look at the third column. You can see S1 is equal to 1. That 1 can be written as 2 minus 1. Are we clear with this? Okay, second partial sum is 1 plus 1 by 2. The same thing can be written as 2 minus 1 by 2. Okay, because it will also get us to 3 by 2. That is the answer. Okay. Similarly, S3 is 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. That is equal to 2 minus 1 by 4. Okay. So this actually helps us to generalize the term after nth partial sum. So nth partial sum will be 2 minus 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1, because the last term that we are using in partial sums is being subtracted from 2. Okay. So this is very helpful in our calculations. You can see in now from this. The partial sums form a sequence whose nth term is this, that is written right here before you people, and clearly this sequence of partial sums converges as n approaches infinity, and its limit is 2. So finally we say that this series is actually convergent and its sum is 2. So people, now we are going to discuss the geometric series. Geometric series is actually a special case of the series where we have such terms that are being obtained by multiplying the previous term with a constant, with a fixed real number. Okay, you can see that from here, that fixed real number is r. Okay, in which a and r are fixed real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Your first term shouldn't be equal to 0, because that in that case the whole sequence will be, the whole series will be 0 plus 0 plus 0, and we don't want to have that. So here r is known as the common ratio, or sometimes just ratio. So some examples of geometric series are as follows. It's very obvious, it's very clear for all of you. You can easily find the common ratio by dividing the second term by first term, or third term by second terms, right? So you can easily find r. In first example, a is over first term, and that is 1, and common ratio is 2. In second series, the first term is 1 and the common ratio is x. In third series, first term is 1 by 3 and the common ratio is minus 1 by 3. So your ratio can be your ratio can be any positive or negative real number, even 0. It can be 0, but it can't be equal to 1. Why? Because in that case the series will be divergent, and we don't want to discuss that case. We are going to exclude. So we are interested in finding the sum of the geometric series, though we have already discussed that sum of series can be found only by using partial sums, but this is a special case. Okay, how is it special case? You can see it from these calculations. So if you are given nth partial sum of a geometric series, you just need to multiply this sum by r on both sides, so you will get another equation. Finally, subtracting equation 2 from this equation 1, you will have this formula. Okay, and r to the power n plus 1 is actually the term that is causing trouble here. Okay, so if r is greater than 1 or is less than -1, in both cases this term will reach to infinity. It will reach to infinity, because as n increases, the answer will keep increasing, and we don't want to have that. So we have concluded that in limiting case, the convergence or divergence depends upon the value of r, and clearly the series is convergent only when r, absolute value of r, is less than 1. That is, r is lying between -1 and 1. That is the only area. If r is there, then the geometric series will be convergent. And let me tell you, in that case your sum will be a over 1 minus r. How we reached here? If you take r between -1 and 1, and as n will increase, this term is going to approach 0. Okay, so finally you will have the sum, and that will be a over 1 minus r. So let's discuss some examples of this geometric series. So here we have an example of the geometric series, and in this geometric series we have the first term a, and that is 5, and our common ratio is 1/4. And as you people can see, r, absolute value of r, is less than 1, that is lying between -1 and 1. Of course 1/4 lies between -1 and 1. Therefore our previous result tells us that this series is convergent, and its sum will be, by previous on previous slide we have discussed a formula, a over 1 minus r. So a is 5, 1 minus r is 1/4, and that will give you the answer 20/3. So this is the sum of the this geometric series. So this was all today's lecture, and I hope so all of you will have a clear concept of these terminologies, and I hope so you people will be able to use this information in a good manner in your upcoming lectures. So best of luck to all of you. So these are our sources that I have used. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.